Rick Ross did a concert and then he had them playing They Ain't Like Us. They ain't, because you can see the argument where they arguing and the music's playing.
What's up everybody and welcome back to another episode. So rapper Rick Ross' feud with Drake reignited after he was apparently attacked in Vancouver after he reportedly played Kendrick Lamar's diss track Not Like Us. This of course happened following his performance, which then sparked a back and forth on social media involving Rick Ross, Drake and his ex-girlfriend Tia Kemp. From video footage we can see Rick Ross being punched by concert goers who also yelled expletives. Though Ross has not directly addressed the incident, Drake liked a post on Instagram that detailed the alleged attack against Ross and warned people not to come to Canada if you have any issues with him. Drake then posted a series of Instagram stories on Monday night in which he laughs and wishes his followers a happy Canada Day, which was Monday, offering cheers to the whole country, which some perceived as a shot at Ross. For those who are unaware, Ross and Drake, once frequent collaborators, traded allegations and diss tracks in a feud earlier this year that overlapped with Drake's widely publicized beef with Kendrick Lamar.
He was actually acting like a corrections officer. Yeah, that was his old job, right? He had a flashback. He was trying to kind of get out the way. That was very smart. Let's get ready to rumble, because that is what occurred in Toronto the other day. Rick Ross and his crew got in a battle with Torontonians. I mean, I'm just making up a name for them, but it was in Toronto, it was in their territory. I think Rick Ross did a concert and then he had them playing They Ain't Like Us. They ain't, because you can see the argument where they arguing and the music's playing. It seems like this Kendrick Lamar song is like the song for battling now. This is the song for battling. This is the song to get your anger out. But I don't understand if that was the right move. Was that the right move? You guys tell me, to be playing that song in Toronto. That is Drake's home. I don't know where Drake is. Is Drake in a bunker somewhere? But Drake wasn't there, but of course his fans were there. And it was US versus Canada. You understand where I'm coming from? And it looked like Rick Ross's team got kind of overtaken because people was tired of that shit. You know what I'm saying? They say, well, it was some white dudes that beat up Rick Ross. No, I think it was the black and white Canadians that came after his crew, and it got nasty. But I think that Rick Ross was very smart. You know, he looked like he was trying to do something a little bit because, first of all, the Canadian started. He threw the first blow because they were arguing with some white dude with a little fucked up ponytail or whatever. He threw the first blow, boom, and then mayhem started. But Rick was smart. He didn't really get involved. You understand? He didn't. He was actually acting like a corrections officer. Yeah, that was his old job, right? He had a flashback. He was trying to kind of get out the way. That was very smart because he got a lot to lose. And he don't want anybody suing his ass, and he won't be able to do all those videos he does in his big mansion and shit. You understand what I'm saying? And I think he might have to give his name back. Yeah, Rick Ross, you might have to give your name back to the real Rick Ross, Freeway. Yeah, he wants his name back. Yeah, you might have to go back to that corrections officer job. Yeah, and I know he got out of there unscathed. Big Meech. Hallelujah.
This whole fighting my boy Ross and his guys in Canada, that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. That don't happen. That don't supposed to happen. And what's more unacceptable is when Mr. Drake liked the post. That also is unacceptable. I expect more out of Mr. Drake. When there's violence, you don't condone it. You should be bigger than that. Mr. Drake, you should be bigger than that. When there's violence, you don't condone that. You don't like no posters and all that, because here's what happens. There's always a backlash of it all. Here's what happens when now you've inserted yourself, even if you were not involved. Half of the country think you set the man up. They book a show in Canada, and you send your goons out there to agitate and start a fight with Ross. And y'all do what you do on the TV. Half the country think that. When you, Mr. Drake, like the post, you just inserted yourself into violence toward Mr. Ross and his crew. Now, let me just say this. As a broker of peace for Tupac and Biggie, I seen how this shit end, man. I mean, these other young guys, we're going to have a conversation with a lot of these other young guys who dying, these senseless deaths and these songs and all that. Y'all brothers are talented. Y'all got to understand, y'all talented. Y'all don't need that. Y'all talented as fuck. Y'all getting people to buy the records. People are buying your records because they like the music. They like what you're saying in the records. So leave it there, young fellas. But now these grown ass ones right here, Mr. Drake and Mr. Ross. When you like the post and you on there doing your little, okay, it's a beautiful day in Canada, and you like the post, you just inserted yourself in some shit. Now, look how this all play out. I'll keep it 1,000. Look how it all play out. Oh, so half the country thinking that Roston played the record, the Kendrick Lamar record, and he got jumped on because he played the Kendrick Lamar record. So now you got a whole West Coast of people, they at your head. Oh, that's what we doing? You don't need that, Mr. Drake. You don't need to be confined. You're too talented. I like you. I got friends that like you. I don't know you personally. Don't need to know you personally. But you're too talented to insert yourself in some shit that you're not really about. To have a whole coast at your head. You don't want that. I don't want that for you. Now here's how this shit works out. Because again, look, I had the same conversation with Biggie and Pop. I'm probably one of the only few niggas that could talk to them straight up. I was on the road with Biggie when people would be singing Biggie songs in the stadium. Singing Pop diss song while Biggie on stage. I seen this thing.